Okay, so I'm going to see if the team has achieved their research purpose. In the result, we first discuss the aging process of fibroblasts. So we must select the dermal fibroblast of 2 months old and 18 months old female mice to be purified. It can be observed in Figure 1e that purified fibroblasts have double positive PTGFRA and CD34 markers. Subsequently, we compare the difference of thermal fibroblasts of the old and the young with the whole transcriptal analysis. Therefore, in Figure 1F, we use principal component analysis. It can be seen that the young cell group is on the left and the old cell group is on the right. Therefore, the characteristics of his two cell groups are completely different with great difference. So, what could be the genetic difference in the young and the old dermatofibroblasts? We use the gene ontology and the gene set enrichment analysis to show that expression of major extracellular matrix genes, including collagen and glycosaminoglycans, and the expression of genes involved in their secretion in aging fibroblasts was significantly reduced. Meanwhile, genes related to inflammation, innate immunity, and stress fibrogenesis in old fibroblasts, and all the differentially expressed genes related to cell contact establishment were all increased. A large number of genes related to fat formation, lipid metabolism, and adipocyte differentiation were also increased. So in Figure 1H, we can see that the expression of gene related to inflammation was increased in OS infection part. In the cell junction part has changed. And then in the protein export and collagen, tumor expression are reduced. So reduced production of extracellular matrix components, increase of lipid metabolism and inflammation are characteristics that naturally separate the lipogenetic stroma from the fibroblast status column. Therefore, our finding leads us to hypothesize that dermofibroblast senescence may be associated with the acquisition of pro-adipogenic at the expense of fibroblast characteristic. However, in order to test his hypothesis, we first need to consider several factors. Previous studies have shown that the dermis of newborn mice contain 4 types of fibroblasts located in specific parts of the dermis. CD26 positive papillary fibroblasts cross contact with with epidermal progenitor cells in the upper dermis. DLK1 positive reticular fibroblasts which extend to the lower dense area of dermal ECM, and 2 additional pro-adipogenic types of fibroblasts identified as SCA1 positive and DLK1 negative and SCA1 positive and DLK1 positive, which are located in the lower reticular dermis. However, as the mice mature, the difference in cell surface characteristics that enable the differentiation or isolation of his four new dermal fibroblasts disappears. In his in turn impedes the analysis of whether the adult dermis still contain his lineages. So we test whether all the fibroblasts are more predisposed to differentiate into adipocytes in culture. However, a serious problem occurs in vitro culture. Even with standard fibroblast culture condition, regardless of age, cell cycle metabolism, ECM production, immunity, and many other related gene expression were strong change after a period of time. So, remarkably, young and old fibroblasts become indistinguishable from each other. So, it can be seen from figure S5F that the young and old fibroblasts are indistinguishable. Therefore, we have adapted various in vivo methods to better distinguish the above possibility. First, our comparative gene expression analysis shows that the signaling pathway downstream of PPL gamma, the main regulator of fat formation, was ahead in other fibroblasts such as PPL gamma, which is associated with obesity since it is involved in the generation of adipocytes. Therefore, through the immunohistochemical detection of skin section of young and old mice, we found that the expression level of PPL gamma in most old fibroblasts were higher than that in middle-aged fibroblasts. So we can see from the figure that in 2 months-old mice, there is a lot of green fluorescence and less fat cells, and there is less fat by middle age, and then by old age, they have a lot more fat cells. Importantly, all the fibroblasts become PPL gamma regardless of their position in the dermis, spanning the entire papillary and reticular region. On the other hand, in young skin, as expected, nuclear expression of PPL gamma can be seen in lipid cells and subcutaneous fat cells, but is rarely detected in dermal fibroblasts. We then hypothesized that all the fibroblasts with adipogenic characteristics may be similar to the pro-adipogenic fibroblasts previously found in the dermis of newborn mice. We first determined the transcriptor of CD26 positive upper papillary fibroblast, DLK1 positive reticular fibroblast, and SCA1 DLK1 positive and SCA1 positive and DLK1 negative pro-adipogenic fibroblasts, which were isolated from the dermis of 2-day-old newborn mice. We can see on figure 3b that CD26 positive is different from the other three fibroblasts. It means that reticular and adipogenic fibroblasts are relatively similar. Next, we use the GAGA analysis. GAGA is hierarchical model for high-throughput data analysis. So in his picture, we can clearly see that there are significant differences in gene expression between CD26 and the other three fibroblasts. His result gives the same result as shown in Figure 3b. From Figure 3c, we can observe that one distinguished transcriptional feature of papillary fibroblasts is related to the formation of cell junction as well as to cell division and WNT signaling. It suggests that his upper dermal fibroblasts are likely prone to establishing cell contact and engaging in signal transduction with neighboring cells. On the other hand, the three types of lower dermal fibroblasts express more transcript related to the extracellular matrix, suggesting that one of their main functions is to establish the dense network of ECM protein that is characteristic of the reticular dermis. Interest, um, Interestingly, lower dermal fibroblasts also express more genes involved in innate immunity than did papillary fibroblasts. Hence, in Figure 3d to E, his analysis revealed that DLK1 positive reticular cells um, pre- predominantly express ECM gene, whereas the transcriptor of both types of pro-adipogenic fibroblasts had an overrepresentation of genes involved in fatty acid oxidation, glycoside metabolism, and oxidative phosphorylation. Therefore, the transcriptor data of young and old fibroblasts described in Figure 1 were compared with his four characteristics of newborn fibroblasts. We can see from Figure 3H that all fibroblasts are less similar to CD26 papillary signature. In addition, Figure 3I shows a significant relationship between all fibroblasts and SCAR1 positive pro-adipogenic signature. In other words, it could suggest that all the fibroblasts acquire pro-adipogenic genes.